for joining us on Indivisible. I'm your host, John Stubbins. Thrilled to have you with us this evening, America. Got a great guest tonight, but before we get to our guest, I want to remind you, American Anarchy, we're doing fundraiser, our second fundraiser. This one is at Trump National in Virginia on October 5th, and you can go to johnstubbins.com now to get your tickets. Get those tickets now because we're going to sell out quickly for this event. We've got amazing guests, speakers, and music. It's going to be a great night of patriotism. So please get your tickets right away, folks. We look forward to seeing you at the event. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and we will be right back.
Hi, I'm Dr. Ben Carson. Many of you know me as a pediatric neurosurgeon. Some know me as the 17th Secretary of the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development. Some of you know me presently as the founder and chairman of the American Cornerstone Institute. But I hope you all know me as a patriot. Well, I got involved with Old Glory Bank because I immediately recognized what an important institution it would be in our country. The concept of a bank that is consistent with the values that created our nation, and quite frankly, with the values of most people in this country, people who, have become discouraged and don't trust our institutions. Words Old Glory represent our flag. Our flag is such an important symbol. Each of the colors means something special: the red, the white, the blue, the stripes, the stars. Talk about the many people who've sacrificed so much to provide the freedom and opportunity that we have in this country. America needs a place like Old Glory Bank because people need to have an institution that they can trust in. And I think Old Glory can be one of the factors that will help to restore that trust. And I'm going to do everything I can to make sure that that happens.
And I want to bring on the show my friend Jovan Pulitzer. Jovan is an amazing, amazing patriot. Look, there's no way that we would be even at the precipice of the point we are right now in this election fight without Jovan. Jovan's a writer. Jovan is an election integrity expert, and that's not really doing him justice. But Jovan, we love you, man.
Thank you.
We're thankful for all the work you're doing out there. I know you just came back from Lindell's conference. How did everything go?
It's really interesting. People want a solution, and that's where we are now. People, I'm worried about we're getting to the point of apathy in all of this, and so people need absolute bona fide solution. Mike presented what he felt his solution was. It's one of a potential many. But what we have to do is we have to focus on things that can be actionable results. That's what's important. The most important thing that anybody can do is get involved locally. We're going to have to scrub our voter rolls. Even if we get rid of the machines, like Mike says, and turn them all into prison bars, they still have inflated our voter rolls. So in my book, the most important thing we can do is literally dive into each county's voter rolls, set up our groups, knock on doors, verify, find, death certificates and stuff and obituaries, and get these people removed from our rolls. Because remember, if we got 21 million people fattening up the rolls that shouldn't be there, it's going to be a hard fight all the time. Let's just take away their ammo.
Yeah, it's interesting because I got into a conversation with Ken Paxton about this the other day. It seems to me, just from a common sense standpoint, that the very first thing you attack is those voter rolls. Get that done, get that out of the way, and then that's not going to be an issue. Let me ask you this, Jovan. If you just take an educated guess, how many dead people do you think are on those voter rolls? If you had to guess.
Well, dead people probably compile about 8 million people, and it's the way they do the iterations. I'll give you an example. Let me go back. I'll share some information that, in working with Ken Paxton's office, that I shared with Paxton. When you run like Dallas County, give you an example, you can just run your sorting. It's all how you run it, and you run a sorting of phone numbers, and all of a sudden you find just a god awful amount of several hundred people share the same phone number. Then when you track down that phone number in Dallas County, Texas, those phone numbers go to a food shelter in Denver, Colorado. So you have to understand there's many
That's
ways.
crazy.
Yes, there's many ways they fatten up these rolls. If we were to take Texas as an example, if we were to look at Texas, of those who voted in 2020, there are about 29,000 people that voted that are older than 92. Now,
Man.
that doesn't mean that people don't live to be 92, but when you dig into those people, out of 29,000, there's 18,000 of them that are not only older than the oldest person recorded in the state of Texas, they are older than the oldest person ever known to be living in the United States, who, by the way, just passed away at 114. And so you have to not just look at names and or addresses. You have to munch the entire data. And this is a problem we have in every single state.
You know, one other thing that Ken was telling me, and I can't remember the county because I don't live in Texas, but I'm in Texas a lot. I just can't remember the name of the county, but the Houston area
Right.
is the area that he really hit on,
Right.
telling me that it's probably the worst in Texas.
It is.
Why is that?
Houston County, Houston was, if you look at the hotbeds of Texas and you look at how Texas evolved, the strongholds, because what they're doing is it's an infiltration. They go into a red state, they capture cities, and then they turn the city purple, then they turn the city blue. Once they've got the city blue, then they work on the state. Well, Houston used to be the hotbed of conservatism in Texas as a whole. So there's a lot of embedded in Texas that a long time ago, 30, 40 years ago, they started concentrating on Houston's and the oil business. Mm-hmm. And when they started doing that and the money started getting in Democrats where they could really control it, they have decades on other counties in Texas where they've been able to spin their mythology and their magic, getting people embedded. So what that means is you find a lot of trash and junk on their rolls and in their systems. So now with it all coming to surface and people finally knowing enough about elections and looking for the first time deep into the books, you find out that Houston just sticks out like an ugly wart on the end of a nose.
Man, it really does. What do you think? And this is a much broader question because, you know, there's so many different things at play here. And I was actually talking to Mark Fincham about this. You've got, I mean, we talked about the voter rolls. Right. Obviously, get that out of the way first. But, you know, the other big kind of shoe to drop for me is you had verbal evidence. So you had people willing to testify, right? Right. They swore under oath. They gave their sworn affidavit. They're willing to go before the court and testify. Thousands. Right. Paper trail. You know, then we get into the machines themselves and these different voting districts saying that they're not plugged in. They're not, they're not access to Wi-Fi. Right. All these additional problems. What is the next shoe to drop for you? Because here's my problem. We've got tons of evidence. You guys have done amazing work. Look, my friend Greg Phillips, him and Catherine, you, Carrie Lake. I mean, I look at all the people that I deal with that are friends of mine that are constantly hammering away at election integrity, election crimes. Mike Lindell. And we can't get the courts to hear the evidence.
Well,
and, that's a problem.
It's by design, and that's unfortunate.
I know that. But
we don't have two parties anymore. And I tell people this, and I'm just going to unpack this one for you. There was a lot in there. Let me kind of unpack it for you.
Sorry about that.
No, it's okay. It's okay. We don't have two parties. No matter what you think, There's not a right and a left. It's a uniparty now, folks, and that's all there is. And people that you think are great conservatives aren't great conservatives, and people on the left, look, the left tells you that they're going to have sex with your toddler child, so they teach them anal sex in kindergarten, right? Now, the right will tell you we've got you covered, but they end up stabbing you in the back. So let's go back to something as simple as affidavits. In the audits, we don't fight the left. We fight the right. The right doesn't want it looked at. Now, let's just talk about, you said it yourself, thousands of affidavits. Well, as a matter of fact, in 2020, there were 55,000 affidavits across the United States.
Yeah.
When it gets into the warfare of the battle of a million paper cuts, what you find out is some horrible things I never wanted to know, but I'm glad I know them now. Number one, when the GOP put out affidavits and told you to go to their site, click these little things, I saw this, I saw this, I saw this, and click it and submit it, you thought you put in an affidavit. That affidavit like that is not allowable in court. And so many people felt they submitted affidavits, but they did not. The second part of it is to use affidavits in a court of law to prosecute, they have to be truly what's called a jurat, not an affidavit. Now, what is a jurat? A jurat is like when you go down to the bank and you sign title paperwork and they have a notary. That notary is called standing instead of a judge, meaning you have full right standing as if you appeared before a judge in court. That is called a jurat. So we fumbled the ball. A lot of it was intentional that folks made people submit them that way, knowing full well they can't be used in court. Now let's go to the ballot. So many shenanigans, etc. But when I first dove into Arizona, and this was November of 20. I started sounding the alarm bell about 7 days after the election, when I kind of figured out what was going on. Back then, lawmakers didn't even understand that we had rights to this called U.S. 42, 1983 and 1974, or U.S. 52, 20-701. You don't need to know yours yourself. You just know we're supposed to keep the ballots, the envelopes, the digital stuff for 22 to 24 months. They didn't even know that. Next, when you have everybody going on television or seminars or whatever, and they're saying two things, and you got to be really exact about this. You've always heard fraud, fraud, fraud. See this little chart? See that little F? See that blue? See that red? That's fraud. The second thing you've heard is machines are changing the vote. Well, here's the reality. Our elections in the United States of America, we have state elections. You vote for some federal things every 4 years, but they're state elections.
Right.
The moment you say it's fraud, it lifts it out of the state jurisdiction and it bounces it to the federal jurisdiction.
Yep, that's right.
So now you're a federal case and you're claiming fraud. But at the federal level, the only one that can claim fraud is the attorney general. And he's saying, I haven't claimed fraud yet. And boom, they kick it out. Well, people are being misled that way.
Yeah.
So when we say that, the second part of it is a lot of these things that are put out in charts that they say, this is fraud, this is fraud, this is fraud. Here's the number one. I always ask people, if I go speak, I'll ask the room and I'll say, how many of you have heard of a Dominion voting machine? And everybody in that room will raise their hand.
Right, right.
And I say, how many of you heard the CEO of Dominion say, we do not make a machine that connects to the internet? And we know they're lying because we know these machines do connect. I tell people, number one, he's telling the truth on both cases. And here's why. There are not Dominion voting machines. There never have been Dominion voting machines. There's Dominion voting systems. They are a software company. The things that run the election are Dell computers. And so, see, we've been set up from the very beginning with terminology and what's going on. And by the way, a voting machine is identical to your gun. Your gun's not going to roll out of your nightstand or your closet or your gun case and go shoot somebody. Right. It takes bad probing, meaning a bad program in a person, a bad program in their brain, they shoot somebody. Computers are the same way. Computers do not change votes. People, paper, and programs change vote. And until we get our terminology right, we're not going to win.
That makes sense. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with Jovan Pulitzer.
The Isaac Law Firm, protecting men in family court.
By now, you've all heard me talk about Mike and his great products. Well, guess what? Mike's now introduced his MyPillow My Slippers, which are fantastic. Great on my feet, soft as can be. I love them. Mike's taken over 2 years to develop these slippers. He's designed them to wear indoor or outdoor all day, all night long. Made with MyPillow foam and impact gel to help prevent fatigue. Made with quality leather suede. For a limited time, Mike is offering 40% off his new My Slippers. The My Slippers are so comfortable, you're going to want to get them for the whole family. Go to mypillow.com and click on the radio listener square and use promo code Indivisible. You'll also get deep discounts on all MyPillow products, including the Giza Dream bed sheets, the MyPillow mattress topper, and MyPillow towel sets. Or call 1-800-716-4639 and enter Indivisible as your promo code.
And now we have some important breaking news. Are you tired of the control big tech has over your digital life? It seems like there's no end to big tech's dominance. Well, there is a company called Liberation, and their mission is to liberate your digital world.
You must understand everything in your life works off of software. The machines, what you call a voting machine, there's voting equipment and there's voting systems and programs. That machine cannot do anything without two things: programs written to do it and a human to authorize the program. It takes both of them. And so we are caught in a trap where we keep on saying, the machines change the votes. People go around and show you that little F where you see the little blue and then it's red.
Right.
That's all off of public data. Here's how the whole system really works. Everybody looks at the Edison data and they say they see this chart, it's fraud. Well, you can't use it in court because it's public data. You got to have exact data from the election. Now they play a game with us, just like Arizona wouldn't turn over the Splunk logs or they deleted data. The reason they'll do that is because if you delete something with an election, you're subject to a fine of $1,000 and 1 year in jail. On the other side, when, like we do in my work in forensics, you can look at it, you can point to the exact ballot it happened in. That's what they avoid like the plague. Why? Because when you can point to the ballot, each ballot you point out is a federal and state felony. But when they just accidentally delete the files, somebody's going to take the fall for a $1,000 fine and maybe go to jail for a year. They'd rather take that fall than do anything that nails them to the wall. That's why they fight against the ballots. And that's why we're never going to win it when somebody gets up on stage and say, see that? That's 140,000 votes inserted right there. That is not true.
That's an eye-opener.
It's just,
Right?
It's just the truth. It's just the truth. We have to understand how to fight this. I'll give you another underbelly of this. We all were counting on Bill Barr to do what's right. But Bill Barr came on TV and says, look, we put investigators on it. We looked at all the data, and we do not believe there was enough fraud to make a material difference in the outcome of the election. We all heard those words. Let me tell you what that means. John, if you and I were in your state and our candidate had 100,000 votes stolen from them, then we knew there was 100,000 illegal votes. You find some and I find some, and together we find 91,000 illegal dead people voting. And we go to your Secretary of State and we say, look, we found 91,000 bad votes. We've got to audit this and find out what went on. The ways the laws are written, your Attorney General would say, well, I'm sorry, you didn't find enough to make a material difference in the outcome of the election. Why? They need 100,001. And by the way, they're going to fight you on that one, so you better find 110,000 because they're going to try to eliminate them so they don't investigate. There are rules, and they stick by those BS rules, and they play games with our lives, and that's what allows all these people to stand down.
Well, it's an eye-opener, and mainly I appreciate you, Jovan, for educating my audience to make sure they get it.
Thank you.
Look, on this show, it's all about truth, and we don't lie to the American people. So the bottom line is you letting them know what's happening exactly.
Right.
Now they can prepare. Now they can arm themselves. It's
That's
brilliant.
what we do.
By the way, on another note, I had a great time on the Flag Day celebration, and you did an amazing job
Thank you, sir.
hosting that.
Thank you,
I
sir.
just wanted to say that. I haven't been able to talk to you since then, but
It was a great honor to be able to do that for Steve Stern. He's a great American hero, and I'm glad that we could help him out. It was great fun.
I was thrilled. I love Steve, and I'm glad that I was able to come on and do my little 2-minute speech in honor of Flag Day and President Trump's birthday.
Right.
I want to move on. I want to talk about right now your book, which
Right. Thank you.
This has got to really. And by the way, folks, at the bottom, I've got scrolling Jovan's information so that you can reach out to Jovan and so that you can get the book. Okay, Countdown to Chaos.
Yeah.
What a great title! Great title.
Well, people want to know how this happened. This is not immediate. It's been going on forever, folks. And the bottom line is, this has been in play for a long time. They just pulled the trigger big on us. In our book, which you can find on Amazon, Countdown to Chaos, literally we go back in time and we show you every single person that was involved, every president, every executive order, and we bring you all the way through the process right up to our 2020 election.
Wow.
This is about the silent federalization of our election. Remember, if you're going to steal it from America, you've got to know where every vote is at every time so you can adjust. This book breaks it open. There's over 600 links you can trace down on your own. Don't take our word for it. Here is the who, what, and when, and how they did it in federalizing our elections.
Boy, that's really cool. And look, the title itself, see, it reminds me of my documentary, American Anarchy, because when you get into this stage of where we are right now and how dangerous that cliff is,
right?
It is chaos.
Right.
It is anarchy. That's right. What we're talking about. Unlike, I don't want to say unlike, but futuristically, this isn't 1776. Technology, everything's changed. But make no mistake, the tyranny is there, right?
It's still here. They're still practicing the same techniques they practiced then. It's just through technology that they do it. It's just like I use this all the time. I do a thing called Fire Axe Academy to teach people to become election integrity experts. That's fireaxe.academy, not .com, fireaxe.academy. But let me give you an example. The GOP raves about having 80,000 poll watchers. Folks, we have 175,414 polling places. Wow. That means if you took every one of the poll watchers, split their head in half, had them function one eye over here and one eye over here, we still can't cover it all.
That's right.
You have to understand how this works right under our noses.
That's right. Folks, the book is Countdown to Chaos by the great Jovan Pulitzer. We're so thrilled that you were able to come on the show today, brother, and hope that we'll have you back soon.
We'll be happy to. Thank you.
God bless you, brother. Have a great evening.
Thank you.
You guys, we do have the MyPillow 2.0 or 2.0, MyPillow 2.0, the best pillow in 20 years. We've improved on the best sleep ever, and use that promo code Indivisible. Indivisible.
Yes, sir.
And if you use that, it's a buy one, get one free.
And we're back, folks. It's a great show tonight with Jovan Pulitzer. He's one of the smartest guys out there, and hopefully you were able to educate yourself tonight, learn something about election crimes, election fraud. He's the top of the line as far as an expert goes. So hopefully all of that made sense to you. I think it did. Pretty much common terms. Again, American Anarchy fundraiser October 5th at Trump National. Go now to the website johnstubbins.com and get your tickets. Also, 30-day boot camp for men, the first hour for men. This is our men's ministry. We want to fix the fatherless issue in America. This is how we begin. Get your copy at thefirsthour.com. Blast.video.com. Amazing show tonight, and we were thrilled to have Jovan. So, look, folks, we've got a lot of work to do. Keep fighting. God bless you. God bless your families. And God bless America. We love you.
We got any Johnny Cash fans up in this house tonight? Well, here's a burning thing, and it's me, a fiery rain. Well, bound, sir, I feel into real fire. Y'all let me sing it. Say I fell into burning fire. Down, and the flames went high. And it burn, ring of fire. Ring of fire. Y'all sing it till the car. Let me hear it. Say you'll take what is sweet and hearts like ours beat. I feel for it like a child. Oh, and about a while. Here we go. Into the burning of fire. When it's down, and the flames went high. And it burn, ring of fire. Ring of fire. Play the guitar, son. This is our country. Do not forget who you are. Do not forget what your DNA is as an American. Do not forget it for one damn second. We stand on the shoulders of greats, and we're the next great set of shoulders. Can I get a hell yeah out of this crowd one time? Here's some Charlie Daniels. People say I'm no good, crazy as a loon. I get up in the morning and get down in the afternoon. Kinda like my old blue chick hound, I like to lay around in the shade. And I ain't got no money, but I damn sure body's big. And I ain't asking nobody for nothing if I can't get it on my own. If you don't like the way I'm living, say just here comes the Lord. You think I'm bad, 'cause I'm breathing free at last, and you're still stuck behind your mask, and I'm offended. You're offended, yeah, let's all get offended tonight. I'll order us a beer, we can sit down right here, screaming, yelling, cussing, fussing, fine. Passing out $100 bills and the kills and the drill, like a horns on my silver bottle grill. High by the bar, triple round the crowd. Everybody's getting down in that town. It ain't never gonna be the same. Y'all see it. I said it I take a lot of news. All the girls down to the track. Riding up and down the way. I was still in one. And the girls said, say oh, it's right down the road. Say oh, it's right down the road. If tomorrow all the things were gone, I'd work for all my life, and I had to start again with just my children and my wife. Thank my lucky stars to be living here today, 'cause our flag still stands for freedom, and they can't take that away. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the U.